guys, welcome back. Well, we're up to lesson 3 in the comprehensive blending course. If you're new to the channel, this is a beginner intermediate coloring course. It's geared towards colorists who are looking to learn how to do pencil art and not just coloring for relaxation, although to me this is relaxing. We're going to be doing the silver bow today. The page that we will be coloring, this is the practice page. The page that we will be coloring came from the book. You can get the blending course with the pictures in the link in my description. We're up to the 3rd class, and today we're going to be doing the bow. And more importantly, not so much the bow, but we're going to be doing hard lighting. This is opposite of the soft lighting that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks in the cherry and the grapes. Each week it's going to be a progression. Don't worry if you're just jumping in now. You could start at any time. The lessons are up. They're going to be coming out twice a week. They were originally supposed to come out once a week, but the lessons were really too long. It's going to be coming out the first part on Monday and the second part on Thursday. So let's begin. What we're going to be doing today, the lesson behind the bow. I mean, the bow is cute, color a bow, but the lesson behind this today is going to be how to do light without the blending, in a harder light. And where do you see harder lights? In metallic objects, in glass objects. And we get so focused into blending up everything. Sometimes you need a hard line highlight to give the look of a very bright, shiny object. Now, this goes for leather, anything metallic, glass. So to start off with a bow, we're going to do a silver bow. Now, you can do this with your reds. You can make this any metallic that you want. There's plenty of choices out there. I chose to do the metallic bow because you could add in color later on, and I'll show you that also. You don't need a magic marker. It's a need and a want situation. It makes the tone go on easier if you do use a marker. And I wanted to show you something. I usually use my Copics when I want to do an underlying gray. It does change the tone of the paper without losing the tooth. So it gives you kind of like a boost. And when you're doing something like this and you don't want it to be highly blended, there's some blending, but not a lot of blending. You kind of want your colors to sit next to each other. You got a couple of choices. One, you don't use Prismacolor at all because honestly, Prismacolor is a blending pencil. I'm not sure how many of you know that, but because this is such a soft core wax, it's meant for blending. It's not meant for hard lines. Good details are usually done with a harder wax or an oil pencil. I'm going to be working with my Prismacolors here, so I'm putting down a base so that I don't have to do as much blending. I did the main picture back when I was developing the book. So I didn't have the options. I didn't have any markers back then, to be honest. And now I've got about 5 sets. So I wanted to show you 3. I couldn't find my other 2. Well, one of them, my Parcours, disappeared. My child decided I did not need them, and she did. So she walked off with them. And then I have another thing of markers that I was going to compare it to, but I can't find them right now. So sitting out on my desk were 3 sets of markers, so I'm comparing them. I took the lightest that it comes. This is the Prismacolor 10% gray, cool gray. We've got the Copic C1, like blind as a bat. And then we have Color It. Now, I put down a little bit on each one, the Prismacolor, the Color It, and the Copic. Very different price ranges. We have a high end, a middle, and price point, a lower price point. I'm not talking quality, I'm talking price. Copics run $8. You can get them cheaper. Use your coupons. You can get them on sale if they ever go on sale. Prismacolor. They run about $4. You can get them also on a 40% coupon from Michaels and Hobby Lobby. And Color It is available at colorit.com and on Amazon. My friends at Color It did give me my markers. I have to say, these markers were a gift to me. And I was shocked. I wanted a really light gray. And when I put the Copic up against the Prismacolor, up against the Color It, the tone for the Color It was my favorite one. I'm just putting that out there. And I didn't compare it to my Parcours or my other one because I don't have them here. But I got 3 different price points. So go out and get a light magic marker, whatever it may be. Having your grays, your cools, and your warms is really helpful. We're going to work with the Prismacolor today only because Prismacolor matches identically to the pencils. The colors are identical. The Copic one was a little bit dark, and I wanted something really light, and not everybody has the Color It. In tonal value, I would have liked, like if I was, like the world was good and I was free to do whatever I want, I would have chosen my Color It. But the mid one, I'm going to go with my Prismacolor today, and that's the 10%. Now, we're going to do this in 2 ways. I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to show you my picture, and then show you what to do, and then we're going to jump to the end, because really it's rote. You do one little piece, and then you turn your paper, and you do another little piece, and you turn your paper, and you just keep going, and it's the same. So I'm going to show you today exactly what to do. I'm going to give you options on different ways of presenting it. And then we're going to do our last part, which is putting it all together, what you would do at the end. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And let's begin. So I have my picture and I have my 10% marker. What you want to do is, on one box, you want to color it, going down your edges, where your edges would be a little bit darker. But I want you to leave your white as you can. So that would be one. Then you would move on to another one. Now this is just base. If you do not have a gray marker, do not despair. Use your pencil. It's okay. You would be using your 10% cool gray. And you're going to just keep going on it. Okay? And now we will jump to step 2. I've jumped ahead and I've done all of them. And as I said, they're all really similar, so it's just a matter of time. Now you want to get a tonal difference. So you have your 10% on the outside and you made these little triangles. Now I want to make sure that the inside is going to be darker, but the same hue or the same color. And that would be achieved with the 30%. And what you're going to do is just color in with the 30% on the bottom, leaving the middle open for white. Just like this. Now on this one that you will see, you don't really need it because the light isn't really coming in there to give off that white. Now if you go on Instagram, there are literally dozens and dozens of photos that you can use, and I recommend using. They're not going to be exactly this bow, of course, but it'll be similar, and these are all the same. The ribbon curl is all the same on all of them. So any one that you choose is fine. They all work. I've done this ribbon about a half a dozen times, and I use different reference pictures each time. So they all came out interesting looking. And once you do it in gray, you can pick like a red ribbon, a green ribbon, a blue ribbon. I did it in blue in addition to the silver. I'll have to dig it out to show you. But you would use your analogous color cards for whatever pencil that you choose, whatever color you choose to do it. You need your analogous cards for that. This is not nearly as hard to do as the grapes last week. This is an easier lesson. Okay, just like that. The next color I'm getting out is I'm getting out my silver. You can get out 50% or 70%, one or the other. Silver is around a 60% cool, or thereabouts. And I'm going to just slightly darken the edges. Now we haven't done anything with the creating that shine on here yet. What this is going to do is going to make it round. So you want to give it depth. So on each one, it's best to move the picture as you're going so that you get a proper line, a straight line. Just a little darkening on the edge. And you're going to do that for the entire thing. So it was easier to show you in a little bigger space. One of these that I drew out just now is one of these. Now, the idea is that you want to put a shine depending on where everything is. It depends on where the light is, but because it's going to be reflecting off of everything, it's really very random because you don't know really what's going to reflect off of it. So while we did some really strict rules about the terminator line, now if you take a look at this, we're not going to be adding a center light. At least we're not going to be doing any of the normal shading at this point. Right now we just want to get that bottom layer in. Now, there's a couple of ways of adding in the lights that are normal for objects that are cones. They either go straight down from the top and they sort of hit to the bottom when it's very thin. Okay? Most of the time, you're going to notice that the way the lights are going, it's always in a cone shape. We'll do it in another tone. And we're leaving a larger white space open. So over here you might have another 90%. Don't use black. It's too early in the picture to use black. And you can put a little bit of a triangle on the bottom. And you might want to fill in one side with a little thicker line. This is going to become much more apparent when I switch over the pictures. Okay, don't overdo it. Then you're going to take your darker pencil. Now I'm using a 90%. Underneath, right underneath where it goes in, we'd have an occlusive shadow because that's really where the light hasn't bent underneath it yet, and it's separating the front from the back. So if the ribbon was twisted, this is the top of the ribbon. Now, eventually we're going to put a shine on that, and then on the top too. So you're going to do that with all of these, but you're going to make them all look different. Now I'm going to get out the other sheet so you'll be able to see it in full action. So I've been working on this one for a good while, and I left it looking like this, and I drew on the side. Oh well. And this is the one that we're going to work on more for this video. Now, some of them are darker than the other, but I've gotten this picture to the point where I really need to think about shadows because they are going to shadow each other. If you've noticed, I've made some of them a little bit darker. It's not finished, so my light is going to come in from this direction. Okay? Even though it's going to have a lot of reflective shadows in here, they're going to be reflecting off of it, I want to take this side down a tone so you can really tell. I usually bring my light in this side. It's just a way from the right to the left, but this time I decided to go this way. So I've left these really very light, and I'm going to shadow up this because I have enough lines on it. Now I want to think, okay, they're going to shadow each other. I'm going to start with my 50% cool gray, and I'm going to look for things that are on top. So this is very similar to that when we did the grapes, except in this case, it's very distinct sharp lines, not the smooth creaminess of the shadowing on the grapes. And I'm going to see what's covering up what. So this one is covering up over here, but it's not really on top of this. But I'm going to definitely want a shadow here. Now, in there is dark, so I'm going to have to go to my 70. Okay. This is definitely too light in there. And it's going to go straight over. In there. Okay, I'm still got to darken that up. Here, it's definitely too light because this is covering it up, and this would be on top of this. So right in here, you know, it's going to get dark. Okay. This would be bending towards that. All underneath here would be darker. Is this it's my 50. See, I didn't use my 50 anywhere else, so this tone is really open on here for use. It'll show up nice. This is on top of here, so all in here would be dark. Okay, this is on top of here. I need this way darker in here. And in fact, it's going to go up to my 70%. That's why I say start with your 50. Because when you really want to get darker, you can. Okay. Now, here is on top of here. So all in here is darker. And in fact, it would cast down. Okay. All in here would be dark. Should be my 50. I should start. A lot of people used to be afraid of, they would tell me they were afraid of shadows. Shadows make the picture. Without your shadows, you don't get the same look. Now, of course, this is going to have to be worked on for a long time, but you see, you're building up your skills. We already know how to make things look like they're inside and outside and on top of from the grapes. Now, we're just doing it again for the ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with this it's going to take me a long time. The bigger ones they're not as easy to do. They take much longer time because you really have to concentrate on each one of these. And I would say like this is only about, I would say about 75% done. So we're going to go on to the next step, but I'm going to come back with working on this picture again. I'm going to take a black fine liner in a lot of this too. See, it's better to use a marker or a fine liner to get that. Now, it's a little early in the picture for me to be doing this. I would do this as part of my final details, but I just wanted to show you how that really makes it stand out. And that Prismacolor doesn't give you as sharp a line as you would want it. See? So this would be another step. And I'm using here, it's a Unipin pen, and it's 0.5 Unipin. The markers are, at this point, when you're not, unless you're doing really, really fine marker work, the Unipin is good. They're inexpensive. And they haven't failed me. Their tips are really good. So I'm going to get in on all those underneath areas. See how washed out this looks? And watch when I put the pen in. All of a sudden, there's a sharpness to it. Just a little line. Okay. I'm going to end the lesson right here because this is a good spot before we go on to the end details. The second part will come out on Thursday at 7:30 in the morning, and that's Pacific time. If you have any questions, we have a group on Facebook. You can get a hold of me there, or any one of my wonderful moderators who are all wonderful artists. You can also get a hold of me by my email, and that's in the description box below. I'm always willing and able to answer your questions. So I will see you on Thursday morning. Take care. Bye-bye.